What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Before I get into this video, as always, I want to remind you guys, if you want to donate to my channel, if you want to show love to my channel, you want to contribute to Too Raw for TV, you can do so in the links provided in the description box below. And also, I have a link to my Patreon. I want to thank all you guys who have subscribed to my Patreon. Thank you guys so much. I will be uploading on the Patreon today. I will be replacing a video that was taken down via YouTube. I'm going to have to change how I upload on Patreon because I don't need any prying eyes from YouTube, because YouTube is watching me for some reason. They act like I'm some, some uber black militant or some shit, man. But I do know that people are from YouTube are watching my channel for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So I will be uploading on Patreon, and I strongly advise you guys to upload to my Patreon as well. Come show support for only $2 per month. Okay. Now let me get into this video. Now I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard about Chris Paul being traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, I was like, okay, this team's not gonna really do much. You know what I'm saying? But now that I think about it, upon further analysis, I think this team might surprise some people, man. Now, I'm not even saying they're going to make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? The Wild Wild West, you got the Lakers, you got the Clippers, of course, you got Houston, you have still Denver in the mix. Golden State's going to fall down a little bit, but of course, but because Kevin Durant's gone, Andre Iguodala's gone, but Clay's going to come back at some point in the season. So that's 5 teams right there. And then, of course, you have Portland. Nurkic comes back. He's going to recover from that horrible injury he had. So that's 6. Then, of course, there's other teams. Utah's in the mix. They got Michael Conley. That's 7. So as I'm going through all these teams in my head, I'm trying to hope that I'm not forgetting any teams, because I know I am. But then you always have the Spurs. The Spurs are a wild card. You know what I'm saying? Last year didn't have their starting point guard. They will this year. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's 8 teams right there. So the Thunder may not even make the playoffs, but I think they're going to do better than some people think they will. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if they go over 500. Of course, in the Wild Wild West, that's not usually good enough to make the playoffs, but I think Chris Paul might have a resurgent season. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he has the motivation to do so, being the fact that he's 34 years old. He'll be going on 35, I believe, by next season. But he's now in a situation where he's the man, okay? There's no yielding. There's no deferring to another player like James Harden anymore. There's no system that stymies him somewhat. Okay, he's going to be able to show off his very versatile game. Even though he is declining as a player, he's still one of the better point guards in the league. And he also has pieces around him that fit him. He has, like, shooters around him. And unlike Russell Westbrook, who I love Russell Westbrook, you guys know that. But I never actually said that I thought Russell was one of the best point guards. I thought he was a great player. But Russell is not a pass-first point guard. Even though he's led the NBA in assists the last couple of years, I believe, I think a guy like Chris Paul is a born, bred, pure point guard. Okay? I think in this system, I wouldn't be surprised. At first, I was thinking it was going to be maybe LeBron. But now, with this trade and this situation, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Paul led the NBA in assists next year. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. I wouldn't be surprised at him getting 11 assists per game next year for the Oklahoma City Thunder, because he has, like, shooters around him, especially what's his name, Danilo Gallinari. course, formerly of the, I believe, Clippers, who is one of the best shooters, one of the best spot up shooters in the NBA. I think he averaged like 19 points per game last year for the Clippers. I think he shot at a 45% clip for the Clippers last year. And of course, there's some other young guys. Um, so I think Steven Adams, now that there's no longer in that system, they're no longer in that system where he has to yield to Russell as far as rebounds are concerned. I can see Steven Adams averaging a strong, 15, 16, and 10, maybe 16 and 11. You know what I'm saying? I can see him having a great season. And some of these younger guys are going to be surprising. There's always, when you got these young guys on these teams, there's always going to be a surprise here or there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this Thunder team is going to do very well. The only caveat in all of this is, of course, Chris Paul. We all know that Chris Paul has a tendency to get injured, and he unfortunately sometimes, I don't know what it is about Chris Paul, man. I don't know who he fucked over in his prior life, but he seems to have this Al Bundy curse of getting injured at the fucking wrong time, man. It's like you know, with Chris Paul, we always have this: what if he was able to play the last two games in the 2018 Western Conference Finals? What if he was able to play those last two games? How would that series have fought? How would that series have fared out? I honestly believe that if Chris Paul was able to play those last two games, I think that Houston would have beaten Golden State in that conference finals. But we never know. But it's shit like that. It's stuff like that that makes you wonder about Chris Paul. It's just the injuries, and you hope that he has a relatively healthy season. You hope he plays at least 70 games. If he just play 82 games, that's almost a minor miracle. But I do think they're going to have a good year, though. I think they have a team good enough, in my opinion, to fight for that last spot. Um, that would be interesting. You know what would be really interesting? Even though I don't think Houston's going to get the first seed, it'd be really interesting if Houston was to somehow get the first seed in the Western Conference, right? Especially if Morey, the general manager of Houston Rockets, is able to pull off some more mega trades. I know I heard some rumors about them trying to acquire like an Andre Drummond or Blake Griffin or somebody like that. But if they were able to do that, let's say they were the first seed, it would be so awesome for them to fight in the first round. They would be fighting. I mean, I know it's basketball, but in the first round they were able to, let's say, match up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. You know what I'm saying? That would be interesting. Westbrook going up against his former team, Chris Paul going up against his former team. So, yeah, that's it. Pretty much in a nutshell. In summary, I think that the Thunder are going to do better than many people expect them to do. I think Chris Paul thrives in situations like that. He does make players around him better. He elevates marginal and average players into effective players. You know what I'm saying? Um, he I think just the way that he plays, it makes it fun for other guys out there because he gets everybody involved. So I think guys are going to play harder, especially. I can see this team coming back from big deficits and shit. The only thing about Chris Paul, and we've heard this about him, sometimes he can rub some guys the wrong way. So if you're some soft dude you know what I'm saying, that's been pampered your whole life, and you can't take criticism or you can't be pushed a certain way, yeah, he can rub you the wrong way. You know, I think personality wise, he's kind of similar. I think he's kind of similar to guys like Derek Fisher and maybe Jason Kidd. I remember that All Star game. It might have been 2002 or 2003, where Jason Kidd got on Michael Jordan for laxing on defense in an All Star game. That goes to show you what type of mentality that Jason Kidd had. You know what I'm saying? He didn't win a championship in his prime. Of course, he won with the Dallas Mavericks. But that goes to show you the championship pedigree that he had. And Derek Fisher, even though he wasn't the best player on that team, everybody would tell you that Derek Fisher was pretty much the de facto leader of that team. He was the heart and soul of those Laker teams. Kobe Bryant was, I guess, the official leader of those teams early on. You know, Shaq when he was there, but Derek Fisher was the heart and soul of those teams. Now I know Derek Fisher off the court has his issues, but he had a championship pedigree, and I see it in Chris Paul, man. I know sometimes people want to get on this guy, you know, about the fact that he's never won, but some of it's bad luck, man. I can't really sit there and say that Chris Paul has choked. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it is messed up situations with him, man. You know, whether it's injury, uh, tough playoff matchups, you name it, man. It's just situations with him. But tell me what you guys think, man. What do you think about Chris Paul? What do you think about this season coming up? How do you think the Thunder are going to do? As far as like Chris Paul's numbers, it's kind of hard to gauge as he's aging. Um, I would imagine if he averaged like 16 and 8 or whatever his numbers were with the Rockets, I would guesstimate now that he's with this team. I wouldn't be surprised if he averaged like 21 and 11, maybe. I'm putting it like around there. I don't see him averaging a lot more points than that. You know, at this age, you know, state of his career. But I could definitely see him putting up like 20 and 11, 21 and 11. Um, but I see his impact more is as being the team leader, the veteran, and basically setting a tone for what to expect for this season. You know what I'm saying? This is a situation that he hasn't been in a very long time, where he is the clear best player on that team, and even at this stage of his career. And I don't know, but tell me what you guys think, man.